Well, welcome everybody to the podcast show with Kim Evans Inspired Conversations. And today I have a fabulous guest today. And you all, we're going to talk about back health. We're going to talk about spine health. So we're going to get right into it. So today I have on the show Dr. Kevin Michael Wong. Dr. Kevin, thank you for saying yes to be my guest.
Thank you for having me, Kim. It's been fun.
And for those of you who do not know, Dr. Kevin has been my chiropractic doctor for about 25 years, as long as I've been in business. So I'll be sharing with you a little bit of my testimony and the benefits of how I just love chiropractic care later on in the podcast. So, Dr. Kevin, you know how I do on my show. I'm going to send out a quick blessing to the listeners. I hope that's okay with you.
Wonderful.
Okay, everybody, as we are ushering into the holidays is so amazing and the season is so right, and we have to honor the person behind the season as we go into Christmas holidays. So I just want to just give a shout out to the viewers. I want to send you a blessing for thank you for being a part of this podcast show, and I hope that you will be blessed in getting some information from here. And we just want to invite the Holy One in. I always love to usher God into the show, because run with it and do as you wish. This show is going out as far as the east, as far as the west, as far as the north, as far as the south. And it's because of him. So God, I just want to say thank you. Usher into this whole place. Let it be your will. And God, continue to bless Dr. Kevin, because he's been doing such amazing work. He and his wife, Isabel, let them continue the mission and the vision that you have in his life, because he does amazing work. Listeners, thank you. Share the podcast out. God, thank you, because without you, I do not have a voice or the blueprint. So thank you. Welcome. Thank you, God. Yes. Dr. Kevin, I'm going to get right into this and just read a little bit about your bio.
Sure.
Basically, could just tell the world about my testimony about your bio, but I think that people need to have a little bit of background information about you. And we're going to dispel a few myths about chiropractic care, because a lot of people tend to be on the fence of chiropractic care, and you're going to bring that together for us this holiday season. So if you don't mind, Dr. Kevin Wong is a 1996 summa cum laude graduate of Palmer College of the Chiropractic West. Where exactly is that? Is that in the South Carolina, South?
San Jose.
San Jose. Okay. He graduated as valedictorian with clinical excellence and student fellow awards. He spent his first 4 years practicing as an associate DC while teaching part-time at PCCW. He then established his own private practice with his wife, Dr. Isabel, which he continues to operate today. And she's a sweetheart. It's amazing that both you all are chiropractic doctors and you manage and operate your business together in the beautiful town of Orinda. So I'm so excited. This is a dynamic dual team here. He has been a practicing chiropractor and continuing education instructor for almost 26 years. Any of his clients know that it could be every other weekend. He may not be there because he's on a plane, he's on a train or an automobile, he's away, because he is serving and he's educating other chiropractors, and he's also bringing education around the world. So don't be surprised when you call into the office and he's not there. It's because he's teaching. And that's just fantastic. He has developed his emphasis in the feet, the shoulders, the ribs, and the TMJ. Dr. Kevin's private practice utilizes a variety of adjustive techniques treating all ages and levels. His continued practice experiences influence and evolve the course material he teaches chiropractors, CAs, and students. And that's actually what keeps him at the top of his game. And when you come to his facility, he is just on top of all innovation and is so amazing. And this is why, Dr. Kevin, you give and you get rapid results when you come to him. So I love it. So let me get down to here. He frequently writes articles for Chiropractic Economics, the American Chiropractor, and Dynamic Chiropractic. Dr. Kevin practices full-time in the city of Orinda, which is located in the East San Francisco Bay Area, and he lives in Walnut Creek with his beautiful wife and 2 children. And when you come into this office, you see his pictures of his kids too. He's so family-oriented, Dr. Kevin. And one thing that you didn't mention in your bio, how much you are an avid fan of what? Star Wars.
That's true. That's true. But that's not in the bio.
It's like his whole wall of fame is so beautiful with Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars baby too as well. So Dr. Kevin, thank you so much, because I know with your practice and to pull you away, I just want to say thank you for carving the time out to be on my podcast show.
My pleasure.
So let me ask you, what is it? When did you discover that you wanted to actually specialize as a chiropractic doctor? When did you know that hey, I'm gonna be a chiropractic doctor? Why that?
Some people have a real big story that brought them into their profession that they end up doing. But for me, what it was, interestingly enough, was I was headed down the road for physical therapy. And although I have friends that are physical therapists, I never really fit into that profession. I wanted to be able to do as much as I could with regards to being able to see patients off the street for any reason. And and it is true that physical therapists can see people off the street now, but historically, especially when I was going to school for this, 27, 28 years ago, it was mostly by referral. And I didn't want someone dictating who could come and see me and who couldn't see me. And I knew that I could do a lot in a different way, which is I was headed towards PT, headed towards potentially going to med school, but I just wanted to be able to use my hands more and not rely on some of the medications and the things like that. And I've learned a lot since then. And it's interesting. I do believe I've made a good choice for myself. Now, we need our doctors. We need our physical therapists. We need them. It's just your personality has to reflect your line of work, like yours, Kim. Your personality reflects all the different things that you do in your line of work, which I've watched you develop over all these years. So it's a big personality thing. You and I are lucky to find the thing that we love to do. Yes. And it's lucky because, not everybody can monetize that,
Yes. Yes.
So that's really the long and short of it. Is I backed into chiropractic my senior year of high school, of college. And once I was there for a couple of quarters, I knew that was the path that I was supposed to be set on. So it was really luck. I don't know if you want to call it luck or God's direction or whatever you want to call that. But yeah, that's my story.
I love it. So when you look back, when you started, how do you feel? Your passion, are you still passionate about it? Is it that, when you turn the key, is it like, yes, or is there a next that's coming in the next 5 years?
No, I would say that right now I've attained in my life the two passions that I have is practice and teaching. But you have tasted what my practice has evolved into, and that is being able to work on parts of the body that historically chiropractors are not strong in, because we don't learn about these things in school. We don't learn about the feet. We don't learn a lot about the shoulders. We don't learn a lot about the jaw. And those are the three things that I've emphasized in practice that will bring people and get referrals in. And the reason really for the whole thing with the feet as my first love is, even through college, while I was going to Davis for 4 years of college, I would get these random discomfort, pains on the inside of my right knee, and in that part of my pelvis called the sacroiliac joint back there on the right, on that kind of like that right lower back area. And it wasn't until I got out of school and I discovered the power that the feet have, and getting my first real pair of 3-arch orthotics, that those pains actually, they went away. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. People need to know about the feet because we don't learn about the feet. You know that. You and I have had discussions over this over the 26 years. So you know the world that I live in. But to this day, like a lot of the people listening to your podcast, do you people actually know, ladies and gentlemen, that we have more than one arch underneath each foot? We have 3 different arches underneath each foot. And we don't learn this stuff.
Yes, and that is so amazing. It's funny that you say that, because when I was going through massage school, they didn't teach us about the feet. It's just body basics, right? I went back and got my specialty in foot reflexology because I knew that was the power. And when clients come in, I'm going to massage your feet. And now I could kind of tell, because of your training, what you have taught me, when, the feet is out of alignment. I love massaging the feet. It's totally amazing. I can't see why any massage therapist don't love it. So I'm kind of curious. We are going to spend a little bit more time on the feet, but let's just backtrack a little bit. Yeah. I remember when I first started coming to you 25 years ago, you were with your brother, and
Yes.
you had your facility, or tell us a little bit about that small beginning to where you are that brought you to your beautiful home that you have your establishment here in Orinda. It was beautiful.
Well, when I first got out of school, I was working as an employee for somebody in Lafayette for a little while. And I was doing that while I was also teaching down at the chiropractic school in San Jose. But then when it came time to be able to go off on my own, we we had my brother and my sister-in-law in there in the same facility for a while. But honestly, the reason why I ended up getting out of there is I needed more space. I needed my own space. I didn't want to have to share rooms. And so getting our own space at the current facility that we have now, that house that you've come to know, that we've been there for quite a while now, but that house has two-thirds of that house is my clinic, and then 1/3 we have space to rent out to other healthcare practitioners. So that's kind of the evolution of that. It was just me and growing pains and just needing to have my own space.
I mean, and I don't know how many of your clients have been with you since then to see that transformation. A lot of them probably just see where you are now, but I saw that transformation because I went to that office where you were with your brother, and it's like, wow. Just like you saw my small beginnings, when I was for 10 years, and as I have been able to grow and evolve from location to location to location. So, but I remember, and it's like, wow. And I love your home. Your home is just fantastic. So let me ask you also, Dr. Kevin, let's go ahead and define chiropractic care, for the viewers who are tiptoeing that have not.
Yeah. I appreciate
Define chiropractic care for us, please.
So what I appreciate about the question, Kim, is that, you and I have known each other's abilities all these years, but we forget that there are people that we're friends with, that we meet up with on a regular basis, who are like, oh God, chiropractors, aren't they voodoo doctors? Aren't they quacks?
Quack doctors, doctors.
Yeah. And it's unfortunately something that was generated by the by the AMA, the American Medical Association, a long, long time ago. If you will all recall, you've got a profession out there that, we've got the medical doctors. We've also got doctors that used to do a lot more manipulation. Those are the osteopaths. Mm-hmm. And the osteopaths, the American Medical Association went after our professions way back in the early 1900s. And they wanted to absorb us into their profession so they could just basically take us over. So they got the osteopaths, they got them, but they didn't get us. So they organized a campaign. It was a smear campaign to just talk negatively about chiropractic. And unfortunately, that's come down through the decades. And it is echoed by certain medical providers, even though they have no basis of knowing what they're saying. They just are repeating some of the negative stereotypes that have been passed down. Now, chiropractic, let's take the word chiropractic. Chiro means basically the practice. Chiropractic is the practice of using the hands. The practice of using the hands. That's what it means. So chiropractors use their hands to analyze the spine and the different body parts, what we call the extremities. You might know it as the shoulders or the elbows or the wrists or the knees or whatever. We use our hands to be able to tell if those joints are aligned or fitting together properly. I use the analogy of the Legos. We've all played with Legos as kids and even adults. And when you build a structure with a Lego, as you build it up, if you don't press those Legos down well enough, you have an unstable structure. It can start leaning off to the side. It's not as strong. Pieces can pop off. I look at the Legos of your body, which are your spinal bones, and I make sure all those Legos are fitting together properly and that they're in the right spot. And if they're off a little bit, I make minor adjustments with my hands to make sure that we get those bones or those Legos to go back in their perfect alignment. When the alignment is good on the body, the movement, biomechanics, everything that's related to each other can flow better. And it affects your immune system, it affects your circulatory system, and it affects basically the way that your heart and your body can work. So it really is kind of a neat thing to see how over the years I have witnessed how chiropractic can affect the neurology and the circulation and the muscles and soft tissues of your entire body. And that's why we work so closely with massage therapy. Of all the people out there, Kim's profession is the one I work closest with because her power of her hands, she knows how to find things in people's bodies, and she can tell when somebody's out of alignment, just that she defers to me to be able to put that back in alignment while I defer to her to help people with their muscle spasms, because I don't have as much technical know-how to do that part of it.
And I love it that you mentioned about the bodies, the systems. And this is the other piece of what people don't really realize, the body systems and the functions that are 12 or 11, 12 bodies, or 11, 12 systems of the body. Chiropractor does touch on this: the respiratory, the cardiovascular, the circulatory. We know the digestive, the endocrine system, the urinary, the reproductive, the nervous, the sensory. We're going to get some anatomy in here today. the hair, nail, and skin, and the muscular and skeletal. But the main thing that what you do, you specialize in the muscle and the bone and the joint, and actually putting together where the body is out of alignment and dysfunction, dysbiosis, and putting that body back in homeostasis. That's powerful. And this is
Well,
and thank you for bringing this truth, because people need to know about this.
Well, and the other thing to address about that, Kim, because again, I appreciate you bringing up that question, is, those of you that are listening and you've thought in the past, whether it's me or somebody else in your area that you think about trying chiropractic, we don't always have to crack and make the noises at your joints. Kim has even experienced in my office, we have really light techniques that sometimes we have a little instrument that can just kind of tap your spine a little bit. We've got little tables that can kind of pop up and give away and do some gentle adjusting. So somebody who's 90 years old, it's safe to go to the chiropractor. Somebody who's 9 years old is safe to go to the chiropractor, assuming that chiropractor knows a lot of different techniques. I myself have made sure that not only do I try to know a lot of techniques, but I teach that to other chiropractors when I do my seminars, because the more techniques you know, the more people you can help.
Absolutely. And on that note, what makes a good chiropractor doctor?
Well, it's going to be really subjective, and I obviously have an opinion after 26 years of doing this. I think that any good chiropractor is going to be compassionate. They're going to be a good listener. They're going to, and I know it's kind of the same, but they're going to really care. Like, we as chiropractors, we really care about our patients. All right. I will go as far to say as we love our patients. All right. But also, you really want good technical skill. If coming out of school, all I really know is one technique, consider the old saying, if all I have is a hammer, then everything's a nail. I want to have a lot of different hammers. So I've really, like, when my patients are going to go and move away, or they have to go away to school or something, I say, let's find you the chiropractor, but we've got to find out what techniques they use. We got to find out if they know how to treat different parts of the body, not just the spine, because the body is much more than that. And getting you healthy is much more than just adjusting those Legos along your spine. So again, someone who's got a lot of technical skill and knows how to do the extremity work, I would have to say that's probably and you know what, someone who charges a reasonable rate. All right, because there are some people, it's what, again, it's always what you feel is what you're willing to pay for, what is the value. But honestly, that we don't have to cheat people to be able to do good work and feel good about doing it that way.
But I love what you do too, because you do have such great compassion for your patients. I mean, we all love Dr. Kevin. I haven't seen a patient come in there that came in one way, walked out mad. I mean, and that speaks a lot about what you do, as well as I know with the work that I do. I don't know anybody that just, I mean, I have patients that may just come in 2 days earlier because they're so excited about coming in for their massage.
Right.
It's such a blessing to have that kind of passion of the work that we do.
Yes.
You care and you love your patients. And I love the fact that you have excellent listening skills. That's one thing about Dr. Kevin. When you come in, he's going to listen. He's not selling you on a modality. He's not selling you on a technique. He's not selling you on the latest, greatest, what's new to chiropractic care, or buy a pillow or to do something like that. But he really is seeking for your needs so that he can actually recommend the best modality for you to help you, which I love. And that speaks volume. But I want to also just tap on a little bit more, share your different methods. So when someone comes in to your practice, what are your specialty of methodologies that you use? Because one of them is the laser. So if you can just share a few.
So some of the more popular things that people will come in to find me for is, can mention the cold laser. The cold laser has been something that's been around for over 20 years now in the medical field, but it's been a little bit slow to be adopted. Kim knows that I've had laser for 15 years now. I've had it for a long time. So cold laser basically takes infrared light, it penetrates the skin and goes deep into the skin. These are healing frequencies. This is not a laser that's a cutting surgical laser. It's why they call it cold laser. So when it goes into the body's cells, basically, not to get too technical, but we have things in our cells called the mitochondria, and they help to generate energy that drives cellular processes in our body. So the laser actually activates the mitochondria, so they are turned on, and through there, it activates our physiology. It makes our circulatory system increase. So that takes away fluid and swelling and edema and inflammation that we have. It helps to cut down pain, helps to relax muscle. So it's a very natural way of helping people without us even having to touch them. I've had patients that were so tender because they were in so much pain that my hands could barely go on there, but I could use the cold laser on there to help flare them down, right? The other modalities that I think are unique to us is I'm one of the main people in the whole Bay Area that knows how to do custom 3-arch flexible orthotics. These are different than the ones that are referred or made by the podiatrist or the ones that you buy off the shelf. So Kim may go into that a little bit later, but that's another thing that's very, very unique to what I do. And also, again, to go back to the techniques, some of you, when you think of chiropractic, you think of getting cracked, and that is not the case for a majority of my patients. I know how to do the crack maneuvers, and they do work well, but on many patients, they're getting lighter techniques that are comfortable and help them to get chiropractic without making them scared.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I have patients that may come into me and say, oh my God, are you going to do deep tissue on me? Give it to me hard. No, we don't always have to give it to you hard. It's called subtle touch. There's other modalities that I could use that's not so invasive, that can leave you feeling quite relaxed, and with the inflammation, less inflammation. So thank you so much for clarifying that. This is lovely. You mentioned the mitochondria. I just want to piggyback on that real quick. Would your laser help someone who's suffering from MS?
Oh, okay. So because the laser can help neurological type issues, yes, I could use that laser on somebody. I never guarantee that it's going to reverse, but our goal is to slow down and support. Yeah. But everything from Bell's palsy to someone that's got a disc problem to someone who's having tennis elbow or plantar fasciitis. I mean, there's a lot of different applications that we use the laser for.
I know you have heard all the stories as many decades as you and your wife have been in practice. What do you think are the top 3 fears that people have with chiropractic?
Oh, probably the one that I hear the most are the stories where someone, a medical doctor or somebody or friend's mother's aunt's dog says the chiropractor adjusted somebody's neck and they got a stroke. And honestly, you have a better chance of walking out your front door and tripping on your front doormat than you do of getting a stroke in a chiropractor's office. We try to take a lot of precautions on that. And quite honestly, I tell people, I just don't have that much force in my hands to be able to turn somebody's neck that hard. In the movies, it's totally fake when they do this kind of thing to somebody's neck. I mean, that's not how you break somebody's neck anyway. Okay. But that's probably the main one that I hear the most often is that. And, even seasoned patients of mine will come in because someone's like, you better watch when that chiropractor does that to your neck because of this and that. And it's like, again, people who don't really understand what we do, perpetrating stereotypes like that. I do take it seriously and I make sure I explain things to patients, but it's one of those things that I have to deal with, and the other one is when you go into the chiropractor, there's the old joke, how many chiropractors does it take to change a light bulb? Just one, but it takes 50 visits. One of the things that you found out through all these years with you and me is, number one, I put the maintenance care in your hands. You decide when you want to come back. We've been on a journey of this with you of all these years. You come in regularly because you have come to that decision that it works well for your body. I try to work very quickly to get a patient well, to get them feeling great, and then give them the power to decide when they want to come back for follow-ups, not being really militant about it and go, if you don't come back, no, that's not, we're an open door policy. You're welcome. We love you. Just come back when you're ready. And when you do come in and you're telling me, oh, I should have been coming in more frequently like you've been telling me, I won't say I told you so. I won't say that to you. All right.
So, wow, these are great. And then I'm sure there's many others. Those are probably the top three.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting. This is the other one I just want to add real quick before we get
Yeah,
into
sure.
Are they going to make me come like 6 times a week or 5 times a week? Just briefly explain, if you can, what is the benefit, the purpose of why chiropractic care is required, that you do come in, depending upon your issue.
Yes.
I need to come in for a couple of adjustments every week.
When you generally go to a doctor or a chiropractor, your body has had some kind of a negative pattern that it's been holding inside of itself for quite a while. We call it compensation. When I'm looking at you, I'm trying to find out the origin or the cause of your pain. It's different from getting an injection or taking a pill or something like that that only masks the symptoms. I'm trying to get to the cause of your pain, which is usually a biomechanical or a joint related thing, and knock it out. In the beginning, when I'm finding things on you and I'm adjusting you and getting bones to move, your body puts up a little resistance because it's so used to holding you in a negative pattern that it wants to pull it out, pull it back. So in the beginning, we need to have a treatment plan where you're coming in a certain number of times. Sometimes it's twice a week for a little while. Sometimes it can be, if it's really awful, it's 3 times a week, but that's not very common for me anymore to have someone come in 3 times a week, and often weekly, to get you through this and let your body start to heal. Plus, there are things that I will bring up to you. I may be bringing up the orthotics to you. I may be bringing up some sports taping, some braces, back braces or something. It takes a little bit of time for that to work. But once that does start to work, you start to see the results, and you start to see that as you get better, we can cut back. Yeah. That's the thing. And most people, I always tell somebody, I'm working for you. Your body's in charge here. I am someone who's moving your bones around to help you feel better, but your body's healing you. So whatever your body tells me, however fast or slow we go, it's not really up to me. It's up to your body. I'm going to do the best I can for you every single time you're here. And some people will get better in 1 or 2 visits. Some people take 15 or more. But, know that, basically the best interest, that I have your best interest at heart. And I want to progress you through this as efficiently as I can. I don't like anybody to have to come in more than they need to.
Mm-hmm. See, that's that good compassion. See, that's the compassion that you want, that honesty, those bedside manners. You want that really care. Did you find with the pandemic in the beginning, the 2 years, how was that affecting more patients to come in to see you, being that we were staying at home, or those that were staying at home and on the computer and the neck position that a lot of people were experiencing? Did you find that what were some of the common problems people were saying that they were suffering from during that moment?
With people working at home in the beginning, they felt it was going to be temporary. We were kind of led to believe that this whole COVID thing was going to go away pretty fast. Mm-hmm. So people were at home working on the dining room table, sitting on really terrible chairs, or they were sitting on the couch with their laptop on their lap, So, Kim, the same stuff that you were probably seeing, I was probably seeing, So we're talking about tech neck. Yes. We're talking about headaches. We're talking about shoulder pain. We're talking about elbow tendonitis because of using the mouse improperly. Classic low back pain. So some of you probably found yourselves doing a stand-up, sit-down workstation to try to vary your position at home. So that then introduced for me a whole fresh set of people that were having problems with their flat feet when they were standing on the hard floors of their house, and as their feet were flattening out, it was messing up their knees, their hips, their back, and their neck because of their posture. So the pandemic, all it really did was make me have to move laterally into more of a subset of new conditions that we were seeing more frequently that we weren't seeing before, right? And plus you had people that were too scared to leave. I closed for a couple of weeks. Actually, it wasn't a couple of weeks. It was about 5 days where my wife and I just did a reset and tried to figure out, what are we going to do? Can we still be open? And, in the beginning, about the only good thing about the pandemic was that there was no traffic on the freeway.
Yeah.
But, other than that, I was lucky I could stay open, and people were coming in. They were coming in.
And indeed you were. And that was a blessing that you were still able to service us. That was good. It's interesting. I would have to say, I know in my line of work, hips, low backs, and shoulders, like the three top areas that people come in for pain. So
Right.
for you, people come in for hips. But what I think and what I've come to discover is one of the benefits or solution is what we call orthotics. So
Yes.
please share about the benefits of orthotics and what makes your orthotics totally different. And because you create yours, you actually create your own orthotics.
Right.
So
I
yes.
think what's important to understand here is that the word orthotic is just it's so confusing because it is thrown around to describe any kind of thing that you can stick in your shoe. So I want to start by just making sure we're all on the same level ground of understanding of what the orthotics are. When you go into CVS or you go to Walgreens, you can go to the shelf in that aisle and find Dr. Scholl's or some of these things that are sold over the counter. When you go to the sporting goods store, you can find orthotics that are sitting on the shelf that are pre-made, and they maybe have a little bit of inner arch support on there. That's considered an orthotic, but it's not the kind that I make. And there are those of you also listening who have had something that you've maybe gotten, you maybe received from your podiatrist or maybe some physical therapist, where it's a hard piece of plastic that goes under your feet.
Mm-hmm.
That is also not the kind of orthotic that I support or I have to prescribe for people. The ones that we have, the ones that I wear, that Kim wears, and the ones that I've dispensed for over 26 years come from a company that's been in business for over 70 years now. They have the patent technology on a 3-arch orthotic. And the reason why we do that is because you have 3 arches underneath your foot. And those 3 arches are going to be underneath the ball of your foot. You can feel it right now with your fingers on your own feet. Those of you in the audience, not Kim, because she knows this already, but underneath the ball of your foot is 1 arch. Underneath the inside of your foot, which is the 1 arch that everybody thinks that we have. And then we have an outer arch that's on the outside of that foot. So it basically forms a triangle underneath your feet. So when those arches fall, and that starts after age 7, your arches start to get flat. So I've seen little kids in the office that already have really awful feet because they're, genetically predisposed to having flatter arches at an early age. But those arches that I make, those orthotics, are from Foot Levelers. That company is called Foot Levelers, and they are custom to the patient based on a digital foot scan. When you come into my office or someone's office that has this technology, you stand on this scanner, and it's a laser scanner. It scans your feet. We see how flat your feet are. It takes 16 measurements from there, and the orthotics come back with a 1-year money-back guarantee on them. So that is the difference, Kim, between the ones that we can see hanging on the shelves at stores and the ones that we prescribe in our office.
And you do see quite a pay difference because it is a price difference, but the price difference is worth it. And how long, once you design orthotics, how long do they last?
They last about anywhere from 2 to 4 years. Usually you see 3 to 4 years of use out of them. And it's interesting that you bring up the price, though. Yes, I will be honest with you and say that with tax, our orthotics are about $318. But interestingly enough, those ones from the podiatrist, the hard plastic ones, or not just the podiatrist, there's some other healthcare providers that provide the hard plastic ones. Those usually range about $500 to $1,000.
Okay.
I think you've heard of a place called Good Feet. Good Feet. There's not a lot of them around our area here in the Bay Area, but some of your listeners may be in Alabama, or there may be somewhere where there's a Good Feet store. Those actually can cost up to $2,000.
Okay.
So ours being 318 with a money back guarantee for a whole year,
Mm.
that's for me, it's value. The person will end up saving money and having to come in the long run by paying the money for the orthotics because it'll stabilize their body that much better.
No joke. I'm telling you, because if you just need that extra oomph on top for perfect alignment, I'm telling you, the orthotics is they're magical. They're just magical. And I know you were telling me for the longest you need to get some, and I wouldn't get them. And then one day I said, I can't take it anymore. And he said,
Yep.
look, we're gonna do it. And you designed them for me last year, and it's been amazing. In fact, over the course of time, you're like, Kim, you haven't been here in a while. So orthotics, I mean, really helped with my hips because my hips were out of alignment, of course, because of the work that I do. I love them. I swear by them. I recommend them to my clients. I've had a couple of clients that have come to you now that have gotten them, and they're fabulous. So when we talk about the orthotics, the foot biometrics, let's talk about that as well. Is that the measuring of the feet?
Yes. So when the patient stands on the scanner, we have basically it's a digital scan. So when it moves down, and it only takes about 30 seconds, as you remember, but as it moves down, it scans the foot two directions. And when it gives us the image of the foot, the patient is able to see how flat each of those three arches are by the way the foot is pushing down on the top of the scanner. Then when the measurements are made off of there, we can observe how flat each of the arches are. So not only do we see it in a color format, with red being the most pressure, but it gives us a numerical value, Kim. Yes. We look at 0 to over 100. 125 is where severe flattening of the feet starts. 77% of our population of the world have moderate to severely flat feet.
So let me ask you, once the arches begin to drop and you develop flat feet, are your feet flat forever?
Yeah, and that's because the arches of the feet, all three of them, are supported by the plantar fascia ligament that's underneath your foot. And I know some of you know the plantar fascia ligament because you have plantar fasciitis, right? Okay. So that's the one main ligament that supports the feet, but also there are a few other bone-to-bone ligaments. But those are the things that form the arches. So once the arches begin to fall, the muscles won't bring the arches back because they're not the primary supporters. The muscles of the foot are secondary supporters of the arches.
Got it.
That's why, even though I give foot exercises, we cannot bring those arches back. So if we can get the orthotics that we make underneath there, we can keep the foot from getting worse.
Now,
will get worse.
Let me ask you this. So the orthotics, yes, they help to keep the feet from getting worse. How much does our weight impact that?
Okay. As we get older, we tend to put on a little bit more pounds. Yes. But remember, these orthotics are made with taking measurements off the scan. 4 of the pieces of information we get are age, height, weight, sex. So the weight comes into a factor when these things are made. If somebody gains 30 more pounds, then we have to look at making new ones. If they lose more than 30 pounds, then we have to look at making new ones, because that's a good thing. But I would have to say that, Kim, one of the main reasons why I make sure we have these in people's feet is patients want to go out and they want to exercise. They've been told by their doctor they need to lose weight. But then these people go out and they try to walk on their flat feet and it hurts them. Yeah. So when we get the orthotics underneath their shoes, they can go out and walk and begin their program. Yes. And have way less pain.
Yes. I had a client that came in not too long ago and I had sent her to you and she's like, oh my God, I really need to start working out, but I can't because my feet hurt because I'm so in pain. Well, maybe we need to look at your arch support. Maybe you need some orthotics. Let's look at that first. And then once we get that under control, you'll feel better and you will want to start, going out and working out and feeling better. And so she did. So, God, Dr. Kevin, this is great. This is great information. Share with us your rock tape. What is the importance?
Okay. So I've done elastic sports taping for a long time now. And rock tape is one of the brands. Some of you out there actually may use something called kinesio tape, or there's K-tape, spider tape. There's different types of tape. I like the rock tape because it's got the most. I think it has the best elasticity and the best adhesive And this is cotton tape. So there's no there's not a lot of synthetic chemicals inside of this, and so I use the tape to help to support people's arches underneath their feet, to show them how arch support in the form of the real orthotics that we can prescribe for them will actually help them. So I tape the bottom of their feet a lot. People with plantar fasciitis, people that have arch issues, people that have neuromas or metatarsalgia, and also I use the sports tape in other parts of the body, like the shoulders or the hips or the back, to give people support once I've done my adjustments, because it lets them to hold my work a little bit longer.
It really does. And I have to say, I have so many stories, but one in particular, I came in and Dr. Kevin, you were adjusting me on my shoulders because my shoulders tend to go out of whack from time to time. And he says, well, we're going to put this rock tape on you. And I'm like, okay. And this is when we first started doing the rock tape. And he put it on my shoulder and you could see it. And during that time, it was during the summer. And I'm like, Dr. Kevin, this is really not a sexy look. And I have a date. I can't have all this blue tape on my shoulder. And he says, well, do you want pain? or do you want pain? or do you want to go on your date and feel relaxed? To go on my date and I'm going to go. I'm going to show this rock tape. And, it was amazing. But, I have to say, is it magic in that tape or something? Because the tape is good. No, really. I don't know. Maybe it's something that just helps to keep the joint just in place after you adjust it or something. And it just keeps it in alignment. It feels really good.
It helps to keep it in alignment. It helps to speed up the healing process, because like say, with your shoulders the way they were, when I adjust you and we get them back in and you feel good when you leave, if you go home and accidentally roll over and sleep on the side, it can pull your shoulder back out. The tape helps to remind you to keep, don't sleep on your side, Kim. Yeah. Or also it'll help you to look, that's right, don't lift my arm up too high. So it has many functions. It also helps with circulation. It brings more blood to the area. That's what, taping is also good for circulation. So
what I wanted to also ask you too, Dr. Kevin, is really interesting. When you look at your line of work and your breadth of work through all the years, your decades of what you have given to this practice, which one now where you are is your most favorite that you like to work, the area that you like to work?
It's definitely the feet. It's definitely the feet. It's what I'm really known for in our area, with a close second being shoulders, but it's even when I teach chiropractors, my program that I teach them focuses for the first few hours on the feet. Yes. We don't get this stuff anywhere. So I've developed this information over all these years. And please, listeners, understand something. Kim and I know each other very well. There's no ego talking here, okay? Kim and I have discussed things over the years about why we do what we do, why she does her practice with massage. It's in her skincare. I work on areas of the body that traditionally chiropractors are not very good at. I want to be different than every other chiropractor that's out there and that's near me. I don't want anybody to be able to have this kind of a skill level. Now, will I teach somebody? Of course, I teach about 120 hours a year of all this stuff. But in my area, I want to be different because that is what stands out. Otherwise, any monkey can adjust you, but it's how good are they at that, and what is the emphasis that they're going to give you? That's what I want to try to deliver and bring when we're serving our patients.
Thank you. Very well said. And I think you have done a very good job at conveying that. For the holidays, what tips can you leave with us that can help us to keep our backs in alignment as we're going through December, the holiday season?
Well, something that everybody should be doing is making sure you have a really good chair for your house, for your home office. I know some of you have gone back to work. Okay. And unfortunately, probably next year, you're going to be going back to work even more. But some of you are able to kind of still fight and stay at home. And I really think that it's pretty healthy for people to be able to stay at home and work 2 to 3 days a week, But if you don't already have a really good chair that's adjustable, that's a great thing to ask for from Santa.
Okay.
Okay. Adjustable height, adjustable armrests. The back should be able to shift a little bit. You should, making sure that it's got some support for your upper back. Most chairs don't have good neck support. It's really difficult, but that's an added bonus. But chairs are, anywhere from 300 to 500 plus dollars.
Okay.
So, okay, so that's a piece of advice for you for the holidays. A good pillow.
Okay.
People are really interesting about the pillows they sleep on. Some of you are getting your pillows from Costco. Some of you have got your pillows from an infomercial because they made it look that good. Honestly, when I talk to patients about pillows, and that's any patient that's got any kind of a head, neck, headache, shoulder, upper back problem, they're bringing their pillows in for me to check. They will preface this long diatribe. Oh, I got my pillow from this person who went to Japan, and I don't care where you got your pillow, and I don't care what it's called. I just care how it does for you. So I've got to look at you with your pillow to see how it fits you. Save all the talk, because talk is cheap, right? We need to know what it's doing to you when you lie here on this table, and I can see what angle you're at and how it's doing. All right.
And
same thing.
And you sell pillows too. I like your pillows.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. And then I sell. You've seen me go through some different pillow manufacturers through all these years. Right now, I've got selling one pillow that is fully customizable to back and side sleepers. So that's why that one is the current one that I have available. But okay, so what else can I give for holiday advice? When you're going to travel, you need to think about when you get on the airplane. Do you want to take that little kind of gross blanket that they give to you in the plastic and you want to roll it up and use it as a lumbar support? You want to bring something yourself? Do you actually have a pillow that works for you on the plane? Unlike me, who's gone through 5 different kinds of neck pillows that don't work for me at all on the airplane.
Good point. Very good point.
Yeah, they're horrible. Anyway, and then when you are traveling and you get to where you're going, what kind of bed are you going to be sleeping on? If you're going back to your house where you grew up and you're sleeping on the bed that you slept in through high school, I don't know about that. You gotta be careful about those old beds, So, so those are the things that I'm trying to think of right now for the holidays, for what people are doing, So those types, and again, for me, when you're thinking about gifts, I'm always, I try to have these items at the office between the orthotics, the pillows, the rock tape, the ointments, Kim, you've got a lot of your skincare products that are ready to go for stocking stuffers this year.
I think Biotone makes a great gift for anybody. Biotone is wonderful. You could call me or call Dr. Kevin.
Massage gift certificates.
Yes, totally.
Those make up great gifts too for the holiday.
I know, give the gift of wellness. Okay,
yep,
I love it. You all need to make sure that you have a nice high back chair, that it's mobile, that it's movable, nice pillows that you sleep on. Take your pillow on the plane. I know I do. No more wrapping up your blanket and put it on your lumbar. Put a nice pillow. I do not get on the plane without my pillow. It is amazing. And I love what you said about the bed, Dr. Kevin. I just bought a brand new bed. I had that bed for like almost 15 years. It was terrible. I had to get a new bed. It was hurting my back. It was causing me to come back and see you more often. And it's like, what is going on here? And it's like, wow, sometimes you really need to get a new mattress or a new total bed. I got the whole thing new. I just changed it all out. I'm so excited. So
it's funny.
In that.
It's funny because beds are really expensive, but you spend half your life sleeping. And we just kind of forget about that. So
I love it. Dr. Kevin, you have a YouTube channel. What is your YouTube handle? Please share that.
Oh, it's Dr. Kevin Wong. Okay. It's just, you'd be able to find that. I am working on making sure that I'm updating my videos. It's something that Kim has encouraged me to do. Okay. And I thank you for that. But yeah, it's I find that I think you and I have been out practicing long enough where we're very blessed to have
people.
And it's been very nice to have that the patients that need the help that are coming to us and they're communicating with us. But our YouTube channels are really good ways of conveying information. I remember during the pandemic, I made one particular video that really got a lot of traction, and that was helping people understand the ergonomics of sitting and sleeping. So that was kind of fun to do that over the pandemic.
Well, you
But
know what? I'll attach that video into the show notes so that people could go to it and watch it. Why don't we do that? You can actually give me that information and I'll attach it into the notes so people can go and watch it. But you all go to Dr. Kevin Wong's YouTube. You'll see a lot of great information on there on his channel. And we look forward to a lot of other new information that you're going to be sharing on 2023.
yeah.
So as we close out the podcast, I just want to say, Dr. Kevin, you have just been amazing, because when I started my practice in 1996, I came to Orinda a year later. That's when I came to know Dr. Kevin. And I'm telling you, man, if it wasn't for him, y'all, I'm not lying. I'm not kidding. I did begin to see that chiropractor doctor in Walnut Creek because I started my business in Walnut Creek. Then when I moved to Orinda, then I started seeing Dr. Kevin. And my massage therapist, where are my massage therapist sisters and my massage therapist brothers? We must get chiropractic care because it actually extends our life of our work of what we do. I have been hit from the back in 2 car accidents that people did not even know about. And after the first one, I called Dr. Kevin immediately. I said, Dr. Kevin, I'm broken. And it was whiplash in the back, but I had to continue to work because I couldn't afford to take the time off. And it was because his care, it was because of his adjustments. It's because his unique modalities, how he was able to get in there with less than 4 weeks and put me back together. That was amazing. Then 3 years later, I moved to 10 years, 12 years later, I moved to Walnut Creek. At a stop sign, somebody again hit me from the back. And it's like, oh my God, here we go. So then I had to call Dr. Kevin again. It's like we had to do this work on me, because if it wasn't, it was going to take me out and I wouldn't have been able to work. So I just wanted to say thank you. And with your education and your knowledge that keeps me going, that keeps me doing the work that I do. I thank you, because I would not be able to do the work that I do for 26 years as a massage therapist and as a licensed esthetician if my back was not properly in alignment. Now, another things that you also recommend your patients is exercise, fitness, nutrition, is wellness, is mindfulness. So you have to incorporate all of that. So I just wanted to just give that plug and that nice, happy praise and testimony is that you all, if you're looking into chiropractic care, come on out and see Dr. Kevin. He's totally amazing. Dr. Kevin, can you please leave your address?
Sure. We're in Orinda in downtown, and we're really, really close to the Wells Fargo Bank. And it's really honestly close to the BART station as well. So we're at, my practice is called Orinda Chiropractic Center, and we're at 89 Moraga Way. It's Moraga, and that's Orinda 94563. And thank you, Kim. I really appreciate being able to be on your awesome show and just kind of talk, because we like talking shop. You and I, we like.
It is wonderful how you could be in the same alignment of professionalism and you see and you get it, and you can understand and you recognize and you can appreciate. And it's and I respect Dr. Kevin and his wife, all these years. They've been amazing role models. As a matter of fact, he didn't know it, but he's an amazing role model to me. So Dr. Kevin, let me also ask you lastly, how do you get adjustments? Does your wife adjust you? Who adjusts?
She does. Yeah, she does adjust. And honestly, with all the traveling I do, and I've told you this before, like if I'm on a flight that's kind of over 2 or 3 hours, I don't fit well in those plane seats. I don't know any human being that does, but I often, like, if I'm going to a chiropractic seminar, I'll just kind of cherry pick somebody who I know knows what they're doing, and I'll get myself adjusted if I need. Most of the time, I have my wife do it.
You kind of sound like me. If I'm at a conference, I look over and I can say, okay, which one of the massage therapists have good hands? Then you could touch my shoulder. Other than that, I'll wait until I get back. So last question, we all know you travel. We all see your lovely photos and what you do. And you guys just came back from a lovely trip, you and your wife.
Yeah.
So how do you wind down? How do you and your wife enjoy? Because you give so much to your patients, you give so much to your business. How else do you have fun?
The way I wind down is taking walks with my wife. That's always fun. I've been being very diligent about doing some stretching in the evenings. which is something I haven't done in the past before. Because I haven't perceived that I've had any time to do it, but I'm trying to make the time to do that now. And honestly, just sitting down and watching a little bit of Netflix or Amazon video, just giving myself the permission to just chill out and not be in constant motion. That's very I look forward to that because I don't get a lot of time to sit around.
Mhm. But don't forget to add yoga. It's so amazing because we had sightings at Yoga Works at one time before they closed, and I'm
That
like,
is true.
this is
Yep. And
so cool to see doctors doing yoga.
yeah. And also I play with my dog. Play with my dog. So
Nice, nice. Is there anything, any last minute, in some information you would like to share
you know,
with the show?
I think what's fun about this is healthcare is different from when we were all kids. And I don't care if I'm talking to a 20-year-old now or I'm talking to a 90-year-old. Healthcare, you need to make sure that you are your own advocate, your own best advocate, or your family member, or your wife, or your child. Your healthcare is all about money. It's not so much about you. So you need to make it about you because you're paying the money to these people. So if you want to get an MRI, if you think you need something, then you tell your doctor what it is you would like. You can be friendly and nice, but don't let managed care push you around. Be your own best advocate, and because you deserve to have the best. We all do. So you deserve the best. So just ask for it and figure out there may be hoops you have to jump through, but don't take no for an answer. Don't let somebody brush you under the carpet because you've probably all of us have been in that position where a medical provider's looked at us and go, and in their brain, the bubble comes out and says, I don't know what the hell to do with you. I don't know what. And then you're sitting there going, okay, and what are we doing next? And they're like, I think I'll refer you. You're like, okay, you don't know what the hell's going on with me. So figure out, push the buttons, figure out what to do for yourself, or ask your other healthcare providers that you trust. I know that Kim's clients ask her for advice. Mine ask me for advice. So lean on the people that you trust to make sure you get the right kind of healthcare as we go forwards.
Thank you so much for exposing that and sharing that, because I tell my patients the same way, is that you need to be your own health advocate. Ask for what you want and do not allow them to bully you and tell you what you can have and what you can't. You can have what you want to have because you're paying them and you're paying your premium every month. And don't just accept what they tell you. You deserve the best. So wishing you and your family a beautiful, happy holiday season, Dr. Kevin. And I know I'm going to be seeing you very shortly and soon.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah,
I want to wish everybody happy holidays, and I really appreciate taking the time to be here, and I hope that you found it was interesting enough for you to not check your phone.
Thank you, Dr. Kevin Wong.
Thanks, Kim.
Chiropractic care in Orinda, California.
All right, appreciate it. Bye.
Now.